Becoming Naomi Leone, page 26. Chapter 3. A Lamentation of Swans. Dripping wet, Graham didn't weigh 100 pounds. And even wearing her running shoes, she didn't reach 5 feet tall. Now, sitting down with her skinny neck drooping over the table, she looked like a swan peering into a lake. Owen and I slid in across from her. She folded her hands and looked at us. Her face seemed tired, but not happy tired, like after working in the garden all day with Fabiola. Instead, it was worry tired I saw in her eyes, as if something bad was about to happen. The purple and yellow curlers on her head seemed much too cheerful for her face. I know you probably don't remember much about your mother, said Graham, talking real slow, as if we wouldn't understand her if she sped up. I've told you the story of how Terry Lynn came to live with me. We had heard it, but only once in glorified detail, because Graham was not one for rehashing events from the past. Owen and I had retold it to each other so many times that we might as well have been reciting from a storybook. It had started way back, after Graham was widowed. Her daughter got married and ran off to live in Kentucky. Graham said it broke her heart to lose her only child to folks in a state so far away. Her daughter and son-in-law had one child, Terry Lynn. Graham had only seen her a few times during her young life. Then, when Terry Lynn was a teenager, her parents suffered a car crash and died 2 weeks later in the hospital. Terry Lynn was sent to live with her other grandparents. From what Graham could figure out, Terry Lynn defied them so much that they finally didn't want her anymore. Graham was her only other living relative, so they put Terry Lynn on a bus to Lemon-Tree. She arrived mad at the world and almost grown. When she came to live with me, there just wasn't much I could do with her, wild as she was, said Graham. And then Walker Gordon had their summer company picnic, and you brought Skyla, I continued, and Fabiola and Bernardo brought some men who were visiting them from their town in Mexico. Graham nodded. Terry Lynn met Santiago, a gentle, sweet man, and so handsome. He looked like those Latin singers you see in magazines. He was smart and full of life, and spoke English enough to get by. Those two loved each other like crazy, for a while at least. They were really just children themselves. Then they got married, said Owen. Then they had Naomi. Then they had me. They lived in a little studio apartment, but it was like putting a pack of angry cats in a wood box, said Graham, shaking her head. The obligations of you two came into the stew, and their marriage just never thickened. They thought that if they went to Mexico, everything would be better. Then they took us to Rosarito Beach so our dad could make lots of money fishing, and our mom could make lots of money braiding people's hair on the beach, said Owen. Then they got a divorce, and our dad stayed in Mexico, and our mom went to find her life, and we came to live with you. My apartment was small as a cracker tin, said Graham, and here I was with you two, and Owen a whirling dervish. My notion was that children needed wide open space to be wild monkeys. Fabiola told me about the trailer rancho and how it backed up to all the avocado trees. I suspected that Fabiola and Bernardo wanted us close so they could help out with you kids. They always felt kin to you, being that your dad was from their town. And well, I thought it would be good for you to be around them and exposed to your Mexico side. You filled in real nice, I said, patting Graham's hand. And now our mother is back, said Owen, looking confused. That's a good thing, right? Owen, honey, it's the good and the bad I'm worried about, said Graham. One of her favorite sayings was that the good and the bad of any situation were sometimes the same. When I was younger, I had trouble holding my brain on that thought, but now it was starting to make sense. I even had a list in my notebook called Things That Were the Good and the Bad all rolled into one. 1. We had a trailer, so we lived real simple without a lot of stuff. 2. We had avocados growing nearby and could eat as many as we wanted to the point of getting sick. 3. Graham was an expert seamstress and made all of our clothes out of polyester blend remnants. And 4. Graham was retired and could devote her every waking moment to me and Owen. Now I would have to add 5. Our mother came back. What did Graham suspect the bad would be? Where is she going to sleep? Asked Owen. How about she sleeps in my bed and I could sleep on the floor? I can pretend I'm camping. Baby Beluga had a living room kitchen, Owen's and my bedroom with 2 side-by-side captain's beds with doors underneath, a short hall that ran right into Graham's bedroom, and a tiny bathroom. That was it. I think we're awful close to camping already, said Graham. She can sleep on the fold-out under the table. Where did she go? said Owen. Out. Graham frowned. Maybe she'll be right back, said Owen, his voice excited. Maybe she just went out to pick up a pizza and ice cream so we can sit around together and talk about what we've been doing for all these years. Graham and I looked at him. His never-ending good nature was grating on me. Owen, said Graham, I give you more credit than that. We heard a quick double knock on the door. Then it opened. Hola! Hello, I am here. I made tapioca. It was Fabiola, just in time for Wheel of Fortune. She held a ceramic bowl and wore one of those flowered bib aprons that went over her head, but she was so short and round that the apron was rolled up at the waist so it wouldn't drag on the floor. Graham said Fabiola's mission in life was to feed the world with a smile. Her face was set with lots of little smile wrinkles next to her eyes, and framed with brown, permanent waved curls. And I had never once seen her without her little gold dot earrings. Fabiola took one look at Graham's face and asked, What has happened, Maria? Mary was Graham's given name, but Fabiola always called her the Spanish version. Terry Lynn was here. She has come back. But we're not supposed to call her Terry Lynn, said Owen, 'cause she changed her name to Skyla, after the sky. Skyla? Said Fabiola, her forehead wrinkling. No one said a word. I could hear water trickling from one of the neighbors' garden hoses. In just a few seconds, Fabiola's face changed to worry-tired too. Come, said Fabiola, setting the tapioca on the table. We must tell Bernardo. Graham got up and put on her sweater. Then she handed Owen and me our sweatshirts. I looked at Owen. His eyes grew big and his mouth dropped open. He slid off the bench, opened the drawer, took out a roll of tape, and studied it. Then he stuffed the whole thing in his pocket. I picked up my notebook, took Owen's hand, and followed Graham and Fabiola out the door. That was the instant I knew, with conviction, that Skyla walking through the doorway of Baby Beluga was life-changing serious. I knew it for two reasons, and I suspected Owen knew it too. First, Graham had marched outside the trailer and was following Fabiola into the avocado grove, still wearing her clown head. Second, and what locked the possibility of catastrophe in my mind, was that Graham and Fabiola were going to miss Wheel of Fortune, and that was going to mess up their 744 nights in a row record.